Hey, this is Dave with ImprovedBackpacking.com. I want to talk to you a little bit about hydration and staying hydrated when you're out on the trail. Our channel is geared towards the new or intermediate backpacker who wants to learn a little bit more about backpacking and how to stay safe while out on the trail. So let's get right to it. When people are out hiking, the general rule is that you drink about 1.5 quarts of water to remain hydrated when you're out backpacking. Just a few caveats to that is it depends really on a few factors like the weather. If it's really a hot day, if it's a hot dry day, you're going to drink a little more than say a hot and humid day. Your hydration needs kind of fluctuate depending on the temperature of the day. Like for example, if you are hiking and it's 45 degrees out, you may need to stay hydrated based on being able to thermoregulate. What that means is keeping your body temperature up. So a well-hydrated body helps to stay warm because we're able to generate a little bit more heat. However, if you're in a 90-degree day with 90% humidity, the act of thermoregulation through evaporative cooling is going to be a lot more difficult. So while hydrating, you got to be careful not to overhydrate, because as your body is trying to get rid of the excess heat that you're building up with backpacking, you need to realize that a lot of that fluid, if you're drinking a lot of that fluid is starting to I'll call it water down your electrolytes, and that can lead to what's called hyponatremia. What that means is that's a low amount of electrolytes for the amount of fluid that you have going through your body, and that can be a tough day on the trail. You could get nauseous, you could get headaches, you could start to feel a little lethargic, kind of worn down. And that could be because you're overhydrated. So you got to be careful about that. But what we do in that case is on a hot, humid day is I tend to drink fluid at a reasonable pace, but also maintain my electrolytes. I have a drink that I found from a recipe for an electrolyte drink that I found online from Dr. Ken Berry. We'll give him a shout out. He has a nice video that he does creating what's called Ketorade. So I will put a link to Dr. Berry's recipe for that. So what else? Why else do we need to hydrate? We need to lubricate our joints. We need to maintain our heart, lungs, or heart, brain, and muscles. We need to keep them hydrated so that they work efficiently. A dehydrated person can get kind of clumsy. You can get heart palpitations and other symptoms when you're dehydrated. The other thing is it helps to remove waste from our body, so it keeps us as efficient as possible in that way. The other thing, which people don't think about a great deal when they're hiking, is if we're hiking at a moderate pace, we're going to be burning both sugars and fats, depending on what your diet is, and in a fat burning in a fat burning mode, our body will metabolize fat, but it has to get excreted. It has to get out of our body, and it does that through our breath, through our sweat, and through our urine. So that a nice hydrated system helps keep that going as well as we can. What else? So what affects hydration? I'm going to read a list. Basically, the temperature. We talked about how temperature fluctuations will affect hydration. Humidity affects hydration. Body fat percentage. Somebody who is heavier is going to have a more difficult time cooling off. They won't have a difficult time heating up because the body fat acts as an insulator, but they will have a tougher time cooling off. I run into that. I'm a heavier hiker. I run into that where I tend to sweat a lot quicker than my thinner hiking friends, and it's harder to dissipate the amount of heat that you're getting, that you are building up in your body when you are hiking at a reasonable level on a hot day. So what I suggest to the heavier person is you need to find a way to cool off, whether that's carrying super cold water with, you put your backpack and fill it with ice and then fill it with water so that it's at least cooler, taking more frequent breaks, and wiping down, having some sort of chamois or cloth that you can wipe the perspiration off of your arms, neck, and head, and even legs. Because on a hot, humid day, the sweat on your body's not going to evaporate as quick, and if it doesn't evaporate as quick, then you're going to get warmer, and you're going to stay warmer throughout that trip. So you have to get rid of that fluid. So just wiping yourself down with a towel will help to open up those pores so that you can sweat through them. Some people have a higher sweat rate than others. So you say the same, 5'5" woman, one of them, say they both weigh the same and they're in reasonably good shape. One of them might sweat more than the other. So you have to really, when you're out on the trail, you have to practice drinking fluids to see, how much, kind of get an estimate of how much you sweat at different temperatures, at different exertions, so that you don't start to become dehydrated because you're looking at your friend and your friend only went through a half of a bottle of water and you've gone through 3. It might just be because you sweat more than somebody else. So you have to pay attention to that. A caveat to that is I have a friend who I call a salty sweater. So that's the person who, when they sweat, they're excreting a lot of electrolytes, and they're the type of person that, might start to have some white dust on them. Well, that's sodium coming out, being excreted. So pay attention to that. If you are a salty sweater, then you need to find ways to increase your sodium, as well as potassium and magnesium, but sodium for the most part, and that's where that drink like the Ketorade will help you stay hydrated. And we talk a little bit about being in physical shape. When you are going out on your first hike and you start to drink fluids, people tend to either underdo it on the water or they overdo it, and that can become a problem. So the more you get in shape, the more your body regulates those fluids. So because we don't want to just sweat out all of our fluids on an hour hike, so getting and keeping hydrated is important. But the better shape that you're in, the better you're going to be able to tolerate those fluctuations in bodily fluids, electrolytes. You're going to be able to tolerate the humidity better. You're going to tolerate the temperatures better. So being in shape, whether that's doing, I'm not here to tell you to do cardio over strength training. If you are looking to do a backpacking trip is primarily cardio at a low level, but it also includes, squatting, lifting, carrying, as far as, and then lunges, step ups. It includes all of that. So that's what we have today. Actually, one more thing. Men tend to require greater amounts of water to stay hydrated than women. I think that's partly due to body size. So if you are the equal size of, your husband and wife, and you're the same size, then you're probably going to have the same needs. But in general, women are smaller. They require less when it comes to fluids as far as that goes on your hike. So if you like us, give us a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to our channel, ring the notification bell, and check out our website at improvebackpacking.com. I will have a number of links down below that you can check out. A couple of them on this blog post that we did, as well as a few others that are pertinent for this topic. So the last thing is be kind to everybody, whether that's in word or in action, and hope to see you out on the trail, and have a great day.